You're not going to want to miss this episode of the AI Show where Gary Pretty helps us learn how to build bots with Azure Bot Service's comprehensive developer experience. Yes, I can read, and you can too. Make sure you tune in. Hello and welcome to this episode of the AI Show. We're super excited to learn all things bot. Gary, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, thanks, Seth. Thanks for having me back. Always a pleasure.
Fantastic. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I'm Gary Pretty. I'm a program manager on our Conversational AI team. And so our team are responsible for the Bot Framework SDK, Azure Bot Service, and for building chatbots or conversational experiences. And that also supports other experiences at Microsoft, like Power Virtual Agents.
Oh, hey. Now, we last time we had you on, you talked a little bit about telephony. What's new since build? Can you give us like a little bite-sized thing so we can get into it?
Sure, absolutely. So the main goal for build has been to make it so that you can get started faster than ever before. We guide you through the experience of building your conversational app, and then we make it so that you can collaborate with anyone once you've published your bot to Azure.
And this is cool because, listen, this is like we're going off script here, but I emailed Gary like the middle of his night the other last week. I'm like, hey, I need to build a bot, but I don't know how. I'm struggling. And he's like, I can help you with that. Should we just dive in and take a look at how we're doing this?
Let's just do that. And I've even got a small piece of my demo, which is dedicated to your request. So let's do that. Right.
Let's do it.
Right now, I'm in Bot Framework Composer. This is our visual IDE for building conversational experiences, and it sits on top of the Bot Framework SDK. And so everything that you're creating here, you're not making a decision between Visual Designer or code. This is an SDK project under the hood, but you get productivity enhancements because you are able to design your conversation visually. Now, Composer's been around now for around about 12 months in GA. And we've spent the last 6 months really focusing on how do we make sure that this getting started experience, like this zero to productive path, is as seamless as possible. You know, we're part of the new applied AI services, and the goal there within Azure is to make sure that you can get going as quickly as possible and you have the sort of shortest time to value. And so that's exactly what we have aimed for here. So here I am, I've created a brand new bot and a brand new solution inside of Composer, and it's I've got started. Now, previously I'd be like,
let's pause right here. Hit the hide on the StreamYard thing.
Yeah. Do you want to start?
And then just be like, so what I've got here, go ahead.
Yep. So what I've got here is a bot that I've created inside of Composer. I've used one of the new templates, which we can take a look at later. But right now I'm like, okay, well, what do I do next? Well, the first thing I now get presented with once I create a bot is our new rocket ship menu. Now, this is designed to guide me through what are the required steps that I need to take to get started? What are the recommended and the optional next steps when I want to take my bot to the next level? So this will guide you through the how do I connect it to the cognitive services for language understanding? How do I plug in Q&A Maker? How do I publish my bot? And it's going to take you through that process as fast as possible, and also provide you with links out to Microsoft Learn, Microsoft Docs. So it's really straightforward for you to find the information you need to be productive.
It's like Gary in a rocket ship to help us out. Gary is embedded in this Bot Framework Composer. We are blessed.
Yeah, I mean, we got feedback that it was, you know, people loved Composer, but actually the ramp up for getting started was, you know, quite steep for some people who had never hit the platform before. So this was a logical next step, and we're already seeing great feedback from this, which is
I love it.
Yeah. So the next thing we wanted to do was to make authoring our conversational experiences as easy as possible. And so what we've actually done is we started to think about what type of experiences are people building. And you remember from anybody who saw the last AI show will have seen us talk about telephony. And really our main sort of goal for authoring is to make it as simple as possible for you to build multimodal conversations, rich and engaging, so they can work on text-based canvases like web chat or Microsoft Teams, or even voice-based canvases. So anything from our new preview telephony channel, which you can go and try now for US, through to devices like Google and Amazon Alexa. And so this new authoring editor, or bot response editor, now not only allows me to provide text, but I can also add speech. I can add suggested actions. So these are like the suggestion chips that allow users to just tap to make a choice. And I can even go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to add an attachment. And even then I get templates that I can pick from. So there was a lot of news built around adaptive cards, and you can see here that the use of adaptive cards as part of your bot responses is just baked in. That's
cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, so previously you would have needed to learn and know this syntax, which is called LG, or language generation syntax. And it's incredibly powerful. There's so much you can do with it, but we've just taken the barrier to entry for understanding how to write more complex responses, and we've just smashed it away, right? It's super intuitive to get started now.
That's really cool. Like for me, I looked at like the language generation language, because that feels like what it is, and I was like, wow, you could probably do a lot of stuff, but it feels like I'm learning a new programming language. This makes it a lot easier, I think.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I think the thing that we've started to realize is the fact that people use Composer in a number of different ways, right? It's absolutely there to build enterprise grade production bots. But actually, there's a lot of people out there who are using Composer in the very early stages just to mock up a conversation, to mock up an experience. Exactly. And no longer do they need to sort of make that really simple. It's actually very, very easy to get to a sophisticated experience, even when you're in the early sort of proof of concept stages. So we're really excited about this. The next stage is enhanced testing and debugging tools. So we have something called the Bot Framework Emulator, which is a separate application which I can use to test my bot. And I can open that straight from in here. But it's a separate application, and we are always strive to say, okay, how can we make sure we can improve that developer experience and take it to the next level? And so we've added integrated web chat right into Composer, which allows me to actually interact with my bot and actually test it right next to my design canvas. So I can test it, I can go make a change, I can restart my bot, and I can test it again. And alongside that, we've been adding down here, we have what we call the drawer. And we are taking cues from existing developer experiences like Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. And what you'll see here is we've taken all of the richness of the existing emulator experience, where I get an inspector showing me all of the traffic between my user and my bot, all of the actual JSON payloads that are being passed backwards and forwards, and even data about my project building underneath. I said this was a normal SDK project, and it is. So I've got an output window. This really is now a fully featured developer IDE, and it's only going to get better. So we're really super excited about the new developer experiences inside Composer.
That's really cool. I mean, everyone saw me with my mouth open, because look, I'll be honest, the first time I ever saw this was like 2 years ago, but from where, I don't know, it's 2 years, a year and a half. Last time I traveled somewhere, I don't remember.
Yeah. I was there. I was stood next to you. It was Ignite.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And then like up to now, this is really fully featured. What else you got, bud?
Yeah, so let's skip through a couple of things here just so we can make sure we call them out. Another thing that you can do now is we've got a brand new component model, which means that you can extend Composer and extend your bots super quickly using our new packages and components. And so you can see here, and I said I had something for you. I've got a bunch of actions here that are related to Microsoft Teams development. So this is another new thing, right? Significant piece of, a significant new feature for our users, being able to actually build Teams based bots. So everything from message extensions right through to the ability to get info about the team or the channel. So that's, becoming super easy. But that's been made possible by this new package manager. And the new package manager effectively allows you to say, right, we're going to start with a simple bot template, but then you can scroll through all of the available components, and these are all available on day one. Everything that I'm showing you here has been made available in the last couple months, both first party and community. And there's everything in here from the ability to add new actions to your canvas, like Microsoft Teams. There's also a similar package for GitHub. We have handoff capabilities, so I can hand off to live person or even the ServiceNow virtual assistant if I want to do ITSM integration. And so we're super excited about packages. It's super easy for you to create your own and then share them. And actually, they're just published on NuGet and NPM, just like any other package. And you can even add your own private feed for your organization so that you can share packages internally as well.
This is bananas. I mean, this is really cool. I'm a huge fan. I interrupted you, but this is really cool because now you're enabling folks to create specialized functionality that anyone can use, right?
Yes, exactly. And we, we are heavily involved with the Bot Framework community project on GitHub. It's something I founded with some other MVPs before I joined Microsoft. And now that I'm inside, we actually curate that community and we push it forward. The engagement so far has been incredible. I want to say thank you to all of our MVPs out there and community members who've been contributing already. And as I said, it allows you to extend your bot in ways that you wouldn't necessarily expect. And one of them is over here on this connections tab. So this is in my bot settings. I'm in connections. So two things to call out here. The first one is I now have the ability, because I've published my bot, I've provisioned all of the Azure resources I need for this bot, and I've published it directly to Azure straight from Composer. I didn't have to go to the Azure portal. I didn't have to create any Azure resources. I provisioned them all from in here, and now I can do one-click publishing, which is just awesome. But beyond that, we now have this connections tab where I can say, okay, I'm going to select my Azure publishing profile. And that's then going to allow me to actually configure some of the channels that are available via Azure Bot Service. So again, coming back to, I build my bot and I want to make it available on Teams. Previously, I'd need to head to the portal, configure the channel there. Now it's a single click. Once I do that, that's going to enable Microsoft Teams for me on my Azure resource. And it's going to give me instructions as to how to install it into Teams, right down to providing me with a Teams app manifest, which I can just take and I can use that to install it using App Studio inside of Teams. Which is just incredible, right?
This is like you were literally, because I'm not kidding. We're not making this up. Part of this is like we have stuff that we're going to talk about. But I literally emailed you, Gary, not 2 weeks ago about I'm having a little frustration, and they just magically built this for me in 2 weeks. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't there, and we just built it just for you. No, no. I mean, it's been incredible reaction from folks. We had some one-to-one customer consultations this week as well, and we've had numerous customers say, "Hey, I'm already started. I'm building solutions with the Teams package. I'm publishing to Teams," and it just gets better. Because you'll see down here that as well as the Microsoft first-party Azure Bot Service items, I've got one here which says Google Actions SDK. And that's because I've pre-installed a package for Google. And so if I head over here, I can even find things like, you can see here, we've got Twilio, Slack, Facebook, WebEx. If I do a quick search in here, you'll see that I can find Alexa as well. So as well as the packages that are available via Azure Bot Service, which there are many. So I can go and enable channels like web chat, Teams, telephony, lots of different channels. I can now extend even further. If Azure Bot Service doesn't support a particular platform, I can go install the package, and if the package doesn't exist, I can write it. And these packages, the Alexa one is something I wrote before I joined, made it available in the community, and now we've seen community members contributing more, like we have WhatsApp adapters.
Wow.
And as soon as that package is installed, inside the Connections tab, I just need to click Configure. I can jump to find the instructions, which tell me how to configure my Google Action. I then paste in these two values, click OK, and I can immediately test it on a Google device. And the process is just as straightforward for all of our other connections. So we are super excited about making it as easy as possible for you to create your new bot, publish it to Azure, and then connect it to any other platform.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool. I mean, and this just came out at Build, is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So I mean, we had our Composer version 2. That's the other thing to say, right? There's so many announcements you forget, but this is version 2 of Composer. You know, way back at Ignite, I think 2019, I think it was. We'd just gone GA with Composer, and this really is a major step forward for us. This is Composer version 2, and alongside all of the features that I've just been showing, we've also been working hard to build pre-built experiences and templates that really lean on all of the experience and best practices that we've been gathering over the last, 2, 3, 4 years with customers. We had something called the Virtual Assistant Solution Accelerator, which folks might be familiar with. And we've taken all of the goodness from that and infused it into the SDK, and then used it to build, world-class enterprise-grade templates. And you can see the list here, and this list is going to grow. And we've got C# and Node in preview as well. And I just wanted to sort of finish on one last thing, which is, really make sure I showed this. I've created a bot before we started today using our Enterprise Assistant template. Now, out of the box, this gives me calendar capabilities so that I can schedule, I can ask what's on my agenda, I can book time with other people, everything that you would imagine from a calendar and scheduling bot, right? Okay. It also gives me people search capabilities, all integrated, both of these, with the Microsoft Graph. So not only have our amazing pre-built experiences team created this really in-depth bot for you that is incredibly flexible. It handles disambiguation, it handles interruption, it handles context switching. So this is a great place to look for sort of best practices on how you might build an experience. But not only that, if I jump into one of these items, so here, the Get Direct Reports item, and I jump into the Get Direct Reports dialog, so you can group your conversation into a dialogue. If I click the plus here, and I scroll down to Microsoft Graph, we've even released the package that we have built to connect to the Microsoft Graph. So we now have, just like we've done for Teams and just like the community have done for GitHub, we now have calendar and people related actions which you can use. So let's say you don't want this full experience just yet, but you do want to be able to do some form of calendar or people integration with Graph. You can just install this package. And that's really what we're going for. You can start small. You can start with our Enterprise Assistant. You can use just a piece of it. You can use a whole, part of it. It's really up to you. Start where it makes sense for you and collaborate with anyone. And I think that's really our message. And that again goes back to the demo that I did in Eric Boyd's session at Build. We've not had a chance to really touch on it yet, but our Bot Framework SDK also supports Power Virtual Agents. So as much as today we're focused on Bot Framework Composer and almost like the pro development story, like the awesome IDE that we've got here with all the new features, we have also just gone GA with Composer support for Power Virtual Agents, where you can create a PVA project, which is part of the Power Platform. And then if you need to add some custom capabilities, you can now actually just simply click an Open in Composer button inside of PVA, and that will open Composer. And you can actually make changes in Composer, publish back. And then it goes even further than that, where you can consume an entire bot built with Composer as a skill in PVA, and later this year you'll be able to do it the other way around. So that really, you now hopefully get the idea that it's start where it makes sense for you, whether that's PVA or Bot Framework Composer and the SDK, and then collaborate with anyone. Because other people, you could build me a skill for, plugging into Azure DevOps. You could build that using PVA or Bot Framework Composer. If I want to add that capability to a bot that I built, I can just consume it in a couple of seconds and plug it in.
That's really cool. And I love the emphasis on the Power users, like the Power Virtual Agents back to Composer. That's really, really cool stuff. Where can people go to find out more, Gary?
Yeah, so we've actually got a blog post that details all of our announcements for Build. It's quite long, but there's jump links. You can jump to the bits that you want, but I encourage you to read it all. That links off to a separate blog post which details our enterprise assistant and pre-built experiences. And I would just absolutely love it, as well as the whole team. If you've not tried it, please go download Composer. You'll see how quickly you can get started. And anything at all, I love getting feedback. Please reach out to me on Twitter at Gary Pretty, and I'm always happy to hear from people. And if you hit a problem, reach out to me, because we're here to help solve it.
Of course. Gary, thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching. We're learning all about how to build bots with Azure Bot Services comprehensive development experience. That's an understatement. It was pretty good. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care.